I can't make a lawful conclusion.
You can't answer that question?
I cannot answer that question.
Okay. I just want to make very certain about this. I'll give you an opportunity to take a break and confer with your counsel before we proceed. I don't want to get another answer at trial. I want to make sure that your answer I get today is the same answer I hear at trial. Okay? So do you want to take a moment to confer with your attorney before you answer that?
No.
Okay. So your answer is you don't know.
Yes.
Was Ms. Bergquist detained for taking pictures?
Yes. And for not identifying herself.
Right. Is there a law that requires people to identify themselves when requested by law enforcement?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you delete her pictures?
No.
Who did?
Don't know.
You don't know who deleted her pictures?
No.
By the time you got in front of Judge Peter Felice, they were deleted, weren't they?
As far as I know, they were still on there.
You grabbed her camera
Yes.
away from her outside, did you not?
Yes.
From that point until you were in front of Judge Peter Felice, did she ever hold her camera again?
No.
Okay, so you had it the entire time.
Yes.
Didn't Judge Peter Felice talk to you about whether the pictures had been deleted?
He asked for the memory thing so he could delete them.
Did you hear what I asked you?
Yes.
What did he tell you about deleting the pictures?
I don't recall.
Okay. You just said that he asked you for the memory card because he wanted to delete the pictures. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. And if he were to testify at some point in time that he absolutely, categorically did not delete those pictures, then would you want to change your answer as to whether you or one of your people did?
I'm going to object. Calls for speculation.
No one had custody of the camera but me.
Okay. So you had it. You gave it to Judge Peter Felice.
Yes.
Judge Peter Felice ultimately gave it back to Ms. Bergquist.
Yes.
Okay. So if it was deleted from the time she was outside until the time she got it back by Judge Peter Felice, it was either deleted by you or by the judge, right?
Yes.
Would it have been lawful for you to delete her pictures?
I don't know.
Well, what do you think? Are you allowed to go over to people's pictures and delete them
No.
without a court order?
No.
All right. That would be a violation of which amendment? Do you know?
No.
Which amendment is it that prevents you from seizing people's property without a lawful basis?
Fourth Amendment.
Exactly. So, do you know or not if you'd be violating the Fourth Amendment by deleting her pictures without a court order or a lawful basis?
No.
All right. You mentioned at some point in time something about a DHS memo. Remember that?
No.
You never said DHS memo to Ms. Bergquist?
I don't recall.
Is there a DHS memo that you can think of that has any relation to this situation?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Just so that we're crystal clear about this, her detainment was at least in part because she was taking pictures, right?
Correct.
And it was to stop her from taking pictures, right?
It was to find out why she was taking pictures.
Right, but it was also to stop her from taking those pictures, right?
Correct.
Okay. You also looked through her purse, did you not?
Yes.
In fact, when you emptied out her purse, how high off the desk, or the counter rather, did you lift it before you turned it upside down? Do you know?
I don't recall.
Well, let's say, do you like to treat people's property respectfully or disrespectfully?
Respectfully.
Okay, so for example, if it's your bag, for example, and somebody had to flip it over for some reason, you wouldn't want them to lift it up 3 feet off the counter and then flip it upside down and let everything crash down onto the counter, would you?
No.
So you wouldn't do that to Ms. Bergquist, would you?
No.
Okay, so you did not lift up the purse 2 or 3 feet and flip it upside down, did you?
I don't recall.
Is it possible you did?
I remember dumping out the contents, yes.
Right, but I mean, you could dump over contents, and you can dump over contents, right? Depending on how high over the counter you're holding the purse, right?
Okay, I don't recall how high I was holding the purse.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Would it be respectful to people's property to hold the purse 2 feet off the counter and just dump it upside down onto the counter?
No,
Would that be respectful or disrespectful?
disrespectful.
So you would not do that, right?
No,
Right. Because you don't like to disrespect people's property.
correct.
Let me ask you this. Is it a crime to put somebody in handcuffs without a lawful basis to do so?
I don't understand the question.
Is it a crime for somebody to put somebody else in handcuffs without a legal basis to do so?
For somebody, are you referring to officers?
Anybody. Does it matter?
Yes.
Okay, what's the difference? Explain your answer. Tell me for an officer and tell me for a non-officer.
Okay. For an officer, if we're detaining somebody, we're going to cuff them for officer security. That's procedure and policy and training.
So even if it's an unlawful detainment, you're saying it's not a crime to do so because they're an officer.
Are you asking me for this situation?
Let me ask you this. If an officer detains somebody because the person's a woman, is that legal or illegal to do that?
I'm gonna again object. Calls for speculation.
I would hope he knows the answer to this.
Your answer is detaining them because they're a woman?
Yeah, that's the reason.
No.
Okay. How about because the person's a man?
No.
How about because the person's white?
No.
Very good. How about because the person's black?
No.
We agree. Okay, so let me ask you this. If you see a non-officer put somebody in handcuffs and he says out loud that he's putting the person in handcuffs because she's a woman, would you arrest that person for unlawful imprisonment? Or for some other crime? Assault, perhaps?
It's possible.
Okay. Tell me why you would not. You said it's possible. I'm assuming that means you might not. Tell me why you would not arrest that person.
It would depend on the facts behind it.
Gotcha, okay. All right, now let's say that person is an officer. So the person is an officer and says, this person is taking pictures and I subjectively feel it's suspicious because the person taking pictures is a woman, therefore I am going to put her in handcuffs. Would you arrest that officer for putting her in handcuffs?
No.
Why not? Not even a maybe? Just a no?
No.
In any circumstance, would you arrest an officer for unlawfully putting handcuffs on somebody?
No.
Is it lawful to put handcuffs on somebody unlawfully?
Again, if you're doing it for officer safety, then no.
All right. Why'd you why'd you look through her purse?
We were looking for ID.
And why were you allowed to look for ID? What lawful basis was there to do so?
Well, we had detained her. We wanted to identify her and do our report.
All right, so just so we're very clear about this, what gave you a lawful basis to search her purse was the detainment, right?
Yes.
If the detainment was unlawful, and I'm not saying it was, I'm just saying theoretically, if a detainment's unlawful, the subsequent search is also unlawful, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do if somebody says they want to talk to a lawyer and you have them in handcuffs?
We allow them to call a lawyer.
Do you keep asking them questions?
It depends on the case.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Tell me the case in which you would continue to ask questions of somebody in custody after they ask for a lawyer.
If we're doing an investigation, we're going to ask.